Alright, YouTube. It has been a while since I've posted a video here, and I've got a lot to talk about. I've been in Virginia for the past 4 months, and I've been putting a lot of time and effort into my Patreon page and a few other creative outlets, but in no way, shape, or form do I plan on discontinuing the YouTube videos. This, for me, is where it all started. This channel. I love getting in front of a camera and trying my best to inspire people to take care of their health and to really try to effectively do whatever they can in their own personal power, with their own personal power, to make the world a better place. This world needs more dreamers, and this world needs more people who are willing to do what they can with their own power to try to change the world. You can effectively change the world by changing yourself, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in no way, shape, or form perfect, but I know the power of my message because I've seen it work on myself. And now that I've seen it work on myself, and I've erected this YouTube channel and created these kind of creative outlets where I can talk about health, I've inspired people to take better care of their health, and many of them have gotten a hold of me and said how much better they feel, or they've taken my advice and handed it to family members and it's helped them. So a lot of us are struggling unnecessarily, you guys, because of a handful of different things, but primarily the food and the water that you're drinking. These things comprise such a large majority of where your issues are derived from. Even the U.S. Surgeon General will tell you that 70% of the disease and the ailments and the pathologies that we experience here as humans here in this world are directly related to and derived from the food we eat, the air we breathe, and the water that we drink. So it doesn't take that much common sense to realize that you are what you eat. This has been proven time and time again. Your body uses the components contained in the foods that you eat, and it uses them as structural building blocks, building components to rebuild your body, to rebuild the quality of your blood and your bone system and your skeletal tissue and all of this other really amazing stuff. Your body is an organic machine. It needs organic materials. So there's so much mind control out here in 2018 that it can take kind of a cataclysm for the average person to wake up. And that's something that I'm trying to help people avoid. You don't want to hit rock bottom like I did before you wake up. I've noticed a lot of my viewers are younger individuals who, are becoming health conscious in their teens or their late teens or their early 20s. That is awesome. I wish I was one of you. I was interested in health by 18. I was interested in raw foods. I stumbled across some David Wolfe videos. I don't know how many of you are familiar with David Wolfe, but I've stumbled across some David Wolfe videos in my high school years towards the end of graduation, and I became stimulated by the idea, but I was still eating all the meat. It took me until I was about 22, I believe, maybe a little older than 22. That's when I finally gave up the animal meat. I stopped eating the animal meat, and I had to make up for a lot of lost time. Luckily, the body is very forgiving. It has a lot of patience with how, regardless of how hard we are on it, a lot of us are doing things every day like drinking alcohol or smoking cigarettes or eating excessive amounts of food that's filled full of different, like pesticides, herbicides, larvicides. The body is very forgiving, but that's not an excuse to be rough on it. If you're younger and you're getting into health, embrace it with everything you have. If you're older and you're just now getting into health, regardless of where you are in life, embrace the present moment. Life is precious. Take advantage of the opportunities that you have at your fingertips. You never know when you could potentially lose those opportunities, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, life is all about realizing what you have in the present moment and utilizing the realization of that to the best of your ability. So, but it feels really, really good to be approaching my 30th year, and as a vegan, I don't eat animal meat. I don't consume animal products. My health has gone nowhere but up. Sure, I had some struggles while I got used to it. Sure, I had some struggles, but this journey of health, ladies and gentlemen, is such a fascinating journey. I can't imagine being where I am now, eating the foods and living the way I was in my late teens, in my high school years. Absolutely not. Life has become so much more brilliant. Life has become so much more fascinating. Life has become so much more... Oh, how would I explain it? It's just I'm more in touch with all of my senses. And I directly associate that with the quality of food that I'm eating, the quality of fluid, and the fact that I'm staying away from the vibration of death when it comes to what I'm putting into my system. And sure, the plants are alive. Everything in this dimension, ladies and gentlemen, that grows is living. That's why it grows. It's because it's alive. But to try to compare taking the life from a plant to the life of an animal is absolutely ridiculous. The plants don't run from you. The plants are here for us, ladies and gentlemen. They have everything we need, all the amino acids, the phytonutrients, all the anti-cancerous constituents. I don't put death into my body. I don't take the life of creatures with faces. I've been doing this now for about 8 to 9 years, and as I approach my 30th year, I know within my heart that I've been away from animal products for long enough to know that they are not, in any way, shape, or form, a necessary part of a human diet, ladies and gentlemen. So, you have a lot of people out here who experiment with a plant-based diet or a vegan diet, a vegetarian diet for like a year, and it doesn't work for them, so they go back to eating meat. And you can't accurately say that a plant-based diet or a vegetarian or a vegan diet is non-beneficial when you only did it for a year. And a lot of the people who are saying that it's unhealthy are people who are eating all the wrong foods or they did it improperly. It's like, come on. In order to live this lifestyle, there are certain things that have to be taken into consideration. You have to get certain nutrients. It's just like anything else. There's a right and a wrong way to do everything, ladies and gentlemen. But I hope within the deepest chambers of my heart that my message can get to you at the right time and effectively make you question where you are in life. I try to act as kind of a fork in the road, and not everyone that stumbles across my channel or watches my message or my messages or listens to my messages needs to reassess where they are. Sometimes people like watching my messages just because they like the things I'm talking about or whatever it is. But I know a lot of you are in a position in life right now where you have two opportunities in life. You can keep going down the path that you're going down now, or you can look at something else and turn a new leaf and really come to life, ladies and gentlemen. Health is all about expansion. Health is all about growth. Health is not about staying complacent and just doing what you're comfortable with, ladies and gentlemen. Oftentimes we have to let go of things so that we can get a better grip on life. And I don't think that... I know for a fact, let's put it that way, that I would not be the same person that I am today if I continued going down the path I was going down in my earlier years, where I was eating all the junk food, the dairy, the animal products. You know, I would laugh at vegetarians. I would laugh at the idea of not eating meat. This is all programming. I had to shed my programming. Now, for those of you who watch my videos who are interested in the spiritual aspect of diet, letting go of animal products is one of the most, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is one of the most beneficial things that you can do to lead a spiritual life, ladies and gentlemen. The Kundalini energy, for those of you who watch my channel because you're interested in health and things like Kundalini, the Kundalini loves a sattvic lifestyle. And a sattvic lifestyle, for those who don't know, is a lifestyle that seeks to eliminate suffering to the greatest ability. So then you have the Rajasic and the Tamasic lifestyles, and that's what most Americans are living. These Rajasic and Tamasic diets have animal products in them, and they are rather, inflammatory. They create acidosis within the body. They create inflammation of the tissues. They dumb down the quality of the blood. And when you take all of these factors that harm the human biology, that harm, the way that the health of your blood and things like that, over time it consecutively takes away the kind of charge of your internal battery. And most people are now operating at a very low bracket of energy in comparison to what they could be experiencing, which is just becoming a super conductor for the divine energy, the Kundalini energy. The more you get these raw foods into your diet, and the more you get the beans and the legumes and the raw sprouts, and the living sprouts, and all these things that are filled full of beneficial pigments and phytonutrients, the more you receive that energy, the living energy from those components, and it recharges your battery. So with my message, I hope to inspire people to plug back in to the truth and recharge their batteries, because once you get your battery charged up again, once you get your blood clean again, once you start putting in the beneficial fluids and the teas, your body can now do something with these components, the building blocks contained within these foods and these fluids, and you can now start to remove your blinders. Real health leads to an expansion of the mind. It leads to an expansion of the psychic centers, ladies and gentlemen. Real health causes evolution within the biology. Real health stimulates the enlightenment process. In my opinion, the real goal of health is enlightenment. The real goal of healing is enlightenment, which is the Kundalini, which is why I talk about Kundalini so often on this channel. You can think of Kundalini is basically the full expression of your health. It's when your body reaches a state of absolute homeostasis, where everything's running properly. Not just on the physical level, but on the astral level and your meridians. And for those who don't know, the meridians are points within your body that vital life force moves through. They can't be seen with the visible eye by the average individual, but there are people who can see the meridians. It's been my own personal experience with the Kundalini energy that when Kundalini energy moves through your system, it rewires the optics, it rewires the eyes to such an extent that you can actually look into your body and see the meridians. With Kundalini, there are states of consciousness where you can actually look at your hand and be able to see through it, to be able to see the veins and to be able to see the bones. The Kundalini, there's so many amazing things in life that we're missing out on because we're at such a low state of health. We've taken our battery, consider your body a phone. If your body was a phone, the average individual out here in the material world is operating at about 6% battery charge. And you're consecutively losing charge every day with the stress and the bad food and the bad fluid. And, there's a lot of things that we can't control here in life. But one of the things that we can control, ladies and gentlemen, is the quality of the food and the fluids that we put into our system. And these things have such miraculous healing abilities if you stay true to a regimen. It's all about finding a regimen. Find something that works for you. Just begin. For me, I like to structure my healing regimen in kind of an organized fashion in blocks. So I have my morning block. And my morning block consists of me waking up and having some water, taking some herbal capsules, and then about 20 to 30 minutes later, I'll have a nice cup of black coffee. Sometimes I'll put some soy milk in the coffee. Sometimes I'll put some almond milk in it. Sometimes I'll put some mushrooms in my coffee, like reishi mushroom powder, or I'll put things like bacopa. There's an interesting mushroom blend that I'm currently experimenting with. It's like 6 different medicinal mushrooms in a powdered form. They're extracted, and when you extract an herb, you make it much stronger because you separate the non-beneficial constituents from the most powerful constituents. So I wake up, again, I'll have some water, some herbal capsules or a supplement, and then about 20 to 30 minutes later, I'll have some coffee with some... It changes throughout the year, but right now I'm currently using the mushroom powder. It's got 6 different mushrooms in it. If I remember, put a link to, in the description box if you're interested in getting some of the mushroom powder that I'm currently using. I'm in the process, you guys, of putting together a website where I can have all this stuff available to you, so that you can buy it if you're interested in experimenting with this stuff, because I have so many different things. There's so many things that I've talked about on this channel, but there's so many things that I haven't talked about, and a lot of those are directly related to certain products and herbs and things I take. And I know some of you have contacted me and some of you are interested in this stuff and you want to experiment with it. So I will have a website in the future, hopefully within the next month or so, or a month or two, where you guys can go and buy this stuff so that you can start putting this stuff into your body, because I'm only going to put stuff on this website that I believe in, stuff that I've worked with, stuff that I have experience with, and stuff that has proven to me the power and the benefit. So I'm going to have like shower filters and just a handful of different things on that website. So bear with me. I just got back to California yesterday. I've been in Virginia again for about 4.5, 5 months. So I'm going to be here for the holidays. We got a bunch of fire right now in the California is just absolutely on fire right now. It's ridiculous. The last 3 or 4 years, California's been getting hit hard. But I only brought that up because, and I'll get back to my, I have ADHD moments. I apologize, you guys. I'll get back to talking about my morning routine and, you know, scheduling your health regimen in blocks, like I mentioned earlier. But California, just a little side note, is proof that in order to be healthy, you have to be healthy just to be able to deal with or cope with the insanity of the external world that we live in, where there's brake dust in the air, chemtrail aerosols, smog, pollution. We've got all the satellite cell phone towers and everything going on right now. 5G is about to roll out. There's just a lot of stuff in our environment that by default takes away from your health. And if you're not taking care of your health and trying to mitigate the negative consequences of your environment and how they're detrimental to your health, you're going to be really doing yourself a disservice. You want to structure your life in a way where you ensure your maximum health so that you can have a nice, healthy life that isn't going to be snuffed out short, or, you know, it's amazing to me how many people don't take care of their health and then they get shocked or they're just blown away when they get sick. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been eating all of the death. You've been putting all the clogging dairy in your system. Most Americans that I communicate with, ladies and gentlemen, don't even have one thing that they do every day, that they take every day, like an herb or a natural component. Most people don't have one thing that they put into their system, whether that be elderberry, you know, some hibiscus tea. Most people are so busy that they can't even find time, or they choose not to find time, to have a nice cup of hibiscus tea or take some schizandra berry, which is one of my favorite herbs. I take schizandra berry every day. Again, it's all about realizing that you have the ability to take advantage of the present moment. Don't waste time. I wasted a lot of time in my early years, and it's time that you cannot get back. Take advantage of the time, ladies and gentlemen, before it's too late. But again, finding a regimen, you guys. You want to find yourself a regimen. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you're just getting into this stuff. Just start doing it. Just start getting used to taking care of your health every day. So I'll wake up. I will start the coffee maker. I'll brew some coffee with some distilled or filtered water, some organic coffee. I'll have a nice big glass, 12 to 16 ounces of clean filtered water. 5 to 6 minutes later, I'll take some schizandra berry or some astragalus root. I'm really into consuming the herbs, the tonic herbs of the traditional Chinese medicine system. There's about 27 superior herbs in traditional Chinese medicine that have just massive amounts of bioflavonoids and active alkaloids and beneficial constituents that can really, really benefit you if you consume them regularly. And they're safe. A lot of herbs people are consuming aren't safe for daily consumption. Things like milk thistle. I know here in the West people think milk thistle is just the greatest thing ever. That is not the greatest thing ever, especially for your liver. In the West, the average person thinks that milk thistle is just this amazing liver regenerator. No, it's not. The greatest liver regenerator, in my opinion, based on my own research, is schizandra berry. And I talk more about schizandra healing power of traditional Chinese medicine. The specific 27 tonic herbs, the superior herbs are called, on my Patreon page. If you're interested, you can find a link in my description box if you want to head over to my Patreon page and donate to my channel and unleash or just have access to multiple hours of private video content. But then I'll have some coffee, and currently my morning routine is water, the herbs, and the coffee with the 6 or 5. There was about 5 mushrooms in it, and then it has some bacopa in it. And bacopa is a brain herb. Bacopa is a Brahmi herb, and Brahmi literally means to elevate consciousness. So the medicinal mushrooms I like to take because they're very good for the brain, they're very good for cognition, they're very good for the memory. Or I take the Schizandra in the morning, or the astragalus for my liver, and just to keep things healthy in relation to my liver, because the liver is basically, in traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is the seat of happiness or the seat of anger, and a lot of people with anger issues have a backed up liver. A lot of people who don't experience joy in life are people who don't take care of their liver, or they have a sluggish liver or fatty liver. Just take care of it. Over time, it will thank you. The liver is one of the easiest organs to regenerate until it gets to a point where it's severely compromised, and your liver can get, I believe it's over 80% poisoned before it starts to even give you symptoms that your liver is about to fail. It's all about, again, taking advantage of the present moment. It's a lot easier to ensure that your health is going to stay at an optimum level if you take care of your health while you're somewhat healthy. Not, oh crap, I'm sick, I need to take care of my health. A lot of people can reverse their issues when they're very sick, but a lot of people don't. So if you're watching this right now, you guys, there's a good chance that there's multiple people that wished that they had the health that you have. Why squander or not take advantage of that fact and really embrace it and be thankful for it and do things every day that are directly related to taking care of your health. So this is a health channel in every way, shape, and form. Health is beautiful. My vision has gotten better from the way that I live. My memory has gotten better. My emotional field has gotten better. My ability to create beneficial relationships. I've let go of so many things by embracing health in the way that I do, a vegan lifestyle. And in letting go of those things, I've been able to get so much more out of life. So I got some tea right here, you guys. This is another thing that I do every day. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll do my coffee ritual with the water and the herbs, and usually I'll wait. Usually I'm fasting throughout the day. Lately, you know, in the colder months, I don't tend to fast as much. So right now I'm doing lunch. I had a little bit of bread earlier, some vegan bread, and what was it? I took some beets and cooked some beets and just ate the beet greens with some vegan butter and a little bit of Celtic sea salt. And throughout the day, I'll just drink tea. Occasionally, I'll have some carbonated water, but I really focus on flooding my body with green juice and teas. Once you can get to a point where this becomes your normal day-to-day loop, you would be surprised at what can happen in your life just from daily consumption of things that your body can actually do something with, instead of all the soda with the high fructose corn syrup and the phosphoric acid. Phosphoric acid, ladies and gentlemen, is found in many soft drinks, and phosphoric acid, for those who don't know, is in chrome cleaner. It can strip garbage away from chrome. So what happens when you put that into your system regularly? And many Americans are consuming this garbage on a day-to-day basis. If you go to the average supermarket at the store, I'm not recommending that people go and be judgmental, but just be aware of what people are putting into their carts. Take a look around. The sickness can be seen everywhere, and the more you take care of your health, the more you're going to upgrade your body by recharging your battery. You're going to upgrade all these parts inside of your system. You're going to upgrade your memory. You're going to upgrade your vision. Your graphics card's going to get upgraded. I like to compare the body to a computer, because in many respects the body acts like a computer. It executes commands. It takes in information and processes it and stores it. Circulates information throughout the body. You're going to upgrade so many different parts of your biological computer, and because of that, if you take care of your health and upgrade yourself, you're going to be able to see the sickness around you, in the world around you. And many people can't handle this. In my opinion, it took me many years to understand that it's actually a blessing to be able to see all the insanity around you that comes from getting radiantly healthy. And it's a blessing because if you can't see it, ladies and gentlemen, there's a good chance that you're swimming in it. You can't really be conscious if you're not conscious of what's going on around you, can you? How can you consider yourself conscious or spiritually, more stimulated or awakened if you're not even aware of the sickness everywhere in the world around us? So many people are suffering right now unnecessarily. So many people are going through so many issues in life when they don't have to, when literally, if in my opinion, they just changed what they put into their system in the form of food and fluid over a 6-month period. If they did this properly, I think that most people would experience such an upliftment in their life, such an upliftment and getting rid of all the pain in their joints. And if people got rid of all the inflammation in their body, we live in a really interesting time, ladies and gentlemen. You have the ability to either stay where you currently are, or you have the ability to evolve out of that and become something better. We're kind of in a chrysalis stage where we're either deciding to stay in our chrysalis and die and just keep repeating the same thing over and over and expecting different results, or we can embrace something new. Take a sip of this. This is lemongrass, peppermint, eleuthero, ginseng. What else is in here? Catnip, and a few other herbs. But real simple, you guys. You can buy big bags of herbs. What I'll do is I'll buy my favorite herbs in bulk. I'll go on Amazon Prime and buy big 1 to 2 pound bags of my favorite herbs. You got to think, if you go to the store and you buy a box of tea, a quality box of organic tea is going to be around $5.99, maybe $4.99 if you get lucky. An entire pound of herbs, of a particular herb, can be as cheap as $12.99 on Amazon Prime. So you could either get 2 boxes of herbs, or 2 boxes of tea, excuse me, or you can buy, for the same price basically, buy an entire pound of a particular herb. So I buy bags of Paudarco bark, also known as Tahibo, an awesome herb. It has antifungal properties. It's great for getting rid of candida. It's very uplifting, especially if it's warm in the winter months. Kind of just embraces you. It makes you feel good. I'll buy things like alfalfa in bulk. I'll buy things like catnip in bulk, or hibiscus in bulk, elderberry, whatever it is, my favorite herbs. I buy in bulk because you're going to save money in the long run. And if you have a lot of these herbs around your house, it's going to be a lot easier to consume them on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people are consuming junk, ladies and gentlemen, because that's what they have in their house. If you want to get serious about your health, go through your house and assess what it is that you have in your cabinets. Assess what it is that you have sitting on your countertops. Go in and give your house a douching, so to speak. Go in and give your house an enema. Get rid of the junk that you don't need. Someone pulling up here. So, at the house here in California, there's vegan ice cream. There's a vegan option for every junk food option. So from time to time, I'll have some vegan ice cream. I'll have some fake meat. I don't care. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm constantly consuming veggies. I'm constantly drinking clean water. I'm putting things into my system every day that my body can use, and my body rewards me for that. But I go into people's, I've gone to people's houses before, and looked at what they just keep. Keeping sugar on the countertops, keeping all sorts of sliced meat and cheese in the refrigerator. You eat that stuff because it's around you. If your fridge wasn't full of that stuff, you would eat whatever else was in your fridge. And if you stock your fridge with the right components, every time you get hungry and you want to have a snack or a meal and you go to the fridge and all you have is healthy food, bam, you're forced to use it. You're forced to eat it. Sometimes you've got to force yourself to do things. So, just a brief little message, you guys. I was going to make this one short, but since it's been a while since I've posted a video, I wanted to make kind of a longer-winded rant. I like doing the longer-winded rants. I know a lot of you guys who watch my channel enjoy the longer-winded discussions, so let's do one. You know, I just came back from Virginia. I'm going to be in California for a little over a month and a half, but I just flew back from Virginia. And getting on that airplane and flying from Virginia to North Carolina and then North Carolina to San Francisco, being in the airports is a great way to see just how many people are unhealthy. It's nasty, to say the least, to be health conscious and to be around so many people that are hacking and coughing, and there were even people who were sneezing without covering their mouths, just sneezing out into the open. People sniveling, and just there's the sickness is everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. If the diet that everyone is consuming, the standard American diet, is so healthy, if meat is what we need, if we need meat and dairy and all this garbage to be healthy, then why are so many people, why are the majority of the people who are on this diet unhealthy? They don't look well. They don't seem well when you communicate with them. And then the vegans and the vegetarians, plant-based people, seem a lot healthier. They seem sharper mentally. I don't get sick anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't been sick in years. I don't get the flu. I don't get the flu shot. I don't, you know, maybe throughout the year I'll get like a moderately snivelly nose, but that's gone in a day or so. I have a way of wiping that out. I know what it's like to be on both sides of the scale. I know what it's like to... Well, I know how sick I used to get when I was a standard American. I would get sick every year when I was eating the dairy and the cheese and getting my injections. I would get sick every year. And in no way, shape, or form am I recommending that people don't get your flu shots and stuff like that. I'm just telling you how it was for me. When I was getting all this stuff done, when I was eating all this garbage, I would get sick every year. Literally every year. And now that I've been away from that for long enough, I don't get sick anymore. And I'm not fibbing to you. This is not a way of me trying to boost my own ego or to sound egotistical. I'm just being honest with you. What's the point of talking in front of this camera if I'm not going to be honest? I haven't been sick in years. Even though at times I've been around a lot of sick people, my immunity is just ridiculously high. But I know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence, and I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, chances are you're sick because of what you're putting into your system. Again, let's revert back to what I said earlier in this message when I talked about what the Surgeon General said. That quote where the Surgeon General says about 70% of the diseases and ailments that we experience as humans here on Earth can be directly related to and derived from the foods we eat, the air we breathe, and the water that we drink. You can lift that quote from Dr. John W. Apsley II's book, The Genesis Effect, Spearheading Regeneration with Wild Blue-Green Algae, an amazing book. But if 70% of the issues that people are experiencing in relation to their health are derived from what they're eating, that's basically the majority of the pie chart, ladies and gentlemen. That means that out of a complete circle, 70% of that, if it was taken up, that's how much of a percentage or an effect the food you eat, the air you breathe, and the water that you drink has on your health. So when I didn't take that quote into consideration when I was younger, and I ate whatever I wanted to, I would get sick all the time. But now that I take into consideration the absolute fact that what you put into your system in the form of food, fluid, air, thoughts, emotions, feelings, you name it, I've taken that into consideration, changed my life for the better, changed what it is that I'm consuming, and now I just don't get sick. But I'm also consuming things. I'll get into that in a different video. I'm going to make a short video here on the YouTube channel about how to travel and stay well as a vegan. because going in again to the airport, and airports are basically just giant germ factories, especially when you get thousands of feet up into the air on the actual airplane in this controlled chamber where there's a toilet that people are constantly using. Yesterday when I flew back, my seat, I was about 7 feet away from they call it the lavatory, the bathroom, and just constantly the entire flight people were getting up to go to the bathroom, and it's just nasty. People sneezing, babies coughing, and just all these germs in this long elongated tube of metal. And a lot of times people will get sick on an airplane or going to an airport just because of all the germ exposure. But I'm going to make a video on how to, again, travel as a vegan or a vegetarian, even though I'm not a vegetarian, but how you can do it to really try to ensure that you're not going to get sick. One of the constituents that I use is elderberry, another one is colloidal silver, and baking soda and activated charcoal. Elderberry is, based on my research, experiments with it, and experience with it, elderberry is one of the greatest ways to stay healthy, regardless of whether you're traveling or not. In fact, the founder of medicine, Hippocrates, said that elderberry was basically the treasure chest or the treasure box of healing. Antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial properties. And since my wife showed me elderberry, I had known about it before she really showed it to me. I had heard about it, but once she pretty much told me to experiment with it, I was pretty shocked at the results that I had. Just like, wow, I feel good, I feel better. And you know, I wasn't really getting sick before I started taking elderberry, but once I started taking elderberry, my immune system just became like laser-like. I can feel how high my immunity is. And that's because again, it's not just the elderberry, it's the schizandra, it's the foods that I'm eating. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know for a fact that I have things I need to improve on. I know for a fact that there are certain things in my diet that are still somewhat questionable at times. Again, like the vegan ice cream. I got some of that today for the holidays. I'm going to have a vegan Thanksgiving. I'll show you guys what I'm doing on Thanksgiving as a vegan. I really feasted up. I like indulging in a structured way. Indulgence is a very important part of life. If you don't indulge or enjoy your food, what are you doing it for? If you don't enjoy the path that you're living in life, what are you doing it for? You could be doing if you're not enjoying your life, if you don't feel like you're living your life's purpose, you're just creating strife for yourself, and your life is going to lead into hardship after hardship after hardship. Luckily, I've been away from the animal products so long that I don't even crave them anymore. I get so much enjoyment out of eating salad, or eating some cooked collard greens, eating some cooked Swiss chard, eating some tofu from time to time, having some Spanish vegan rice that I make. I derive so much enjoyment from this stuff. In fact, just thinking about animal meat and thinking about dairy makes me want to puke. I'm not even kidding. It actually stimulates my gag reflexes if I think about it for long enough. So luckily, I'm at a point where a vegan lifestyle or plant-based lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, a sattvic lifestyle, you name it. At this point in my life, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoy it massively. When I sit down to have a big bowl of lentils, I'm just overcome with happiness and gratitude. Being a vegan and fasting and doing all these things that I'm doing has allowed me to really re-gauge my appreciation in life, and I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. I don't need a big plate of dead cooked animal carcass and a bunch of dairy snot and all this other junk to be grateful. I'm grateful with less, because in my opinion, less is more. I've let go of a lot of stuff so that I could expand my awareness, and it has indeed worked. I would rather have expansion of consciousness than a big bowl of food. But again, when I first became a vegetarian, it was a little bit difficult. I didn't really like it at first. So I'm not saying that things that you don't like won't lead to beneficial things. Just because in life, if you're not enjoying something, doesn't mean that you won't eventually. But some people have, for years, been doing something every day that they hate. That's not good. After about a month of becoming a vegetarian or a vegan, chances are you'll start to get the hang of it and you'll start to love it. It may take a little less for some people. It may take a little bit longer for some people, depending on where you are in life and, you know, your whatever. Excuse me. But, you know, some things that you don't like at first will lead to things that are very beneficial and that you'll eventually like. So, I hope that makes sense. But again, if you don't like what you're doing, you really need to question why you're doing it. And ask yourself, okay, do I not like this right now because I'm just getting used to something new? Because a lot of times that's why people don't like something, especially in the initial phases of something. It's like, oh, I don't like this. What's the deal? It's because you're doing something new. It's just like if someone were to, who was an alcoholic, stopped drinking alcohol. They might go through withdrawals. They might have some anxiety. They're not going to like that temporary period where they're forcing themselves to be abstinent. However, after that initial phase of detrimental readjustment goes away, their life improves and they have a new perspective on life. That's beautiful. Sometimes we have to, like a diamond, go through a lot of pressure and a lot of hardship so that we can become better, so that we can reevaluate and become something different. Letting go of things that are non-beneficial, so that sacrificing parts of yourself that are non-beneficial so that you can become something greater is really, in my opinion, an angelic quality. It's a beautiful quality. And when people do that, it is such a beautiful human trait to let go of things to become something better. And that is really the definition of health to a large extent here in 2018, where so many people, including myself, have certain things that we still need to let go of. I really think a lot of people just don't like letting go. And I can understand that. Once you find a pattern in life that you're comfortable with, it can make the idea of letting go of that pattern seem very kind of confrontational or uncomfortable. But oftentimes, once we get into a loop that's very comforting, or that once we fall into the particular behavioral loops that we do for years on end, we really have to learn to reassess and contemplate the fact that we're clinging to that pattern, because certain patterns that are too comfortable are oftentimes non-beneficial. It seems like in life there needs to be some opposition. There needs to be some struggle to some extent. But anyways, you guys, it's great to be back here on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new to this channel and you liked this, regardless of whether you're new or not, please hit the like button or the dislike button. If you dislike this, please leave comments. Feel free to, say how you feel or tell me what you'd like to hear me discuss. This was a longer winded rant because it's been a while since I've posted, and I really wanted to just give you guys a big block of information. But always remember, ladies and gentlemen, that time is precious, and that many people would kill to have the time that you have. Chances are, if you're watching this, you have time you have something. Let me rephrase that. Chances are, if you're watching this, you're in a state where you have health. A lot of people are in positions where they would kill just to have an iota of health, just to be able to get out of bed, or to be able to have a second chance. Don't take your life for granted. Take advantage of the present moment and get things done. Time flies, ladies and gentlemen, and before you know it, you're pushing 30, you're pushing 40, you're pushing 50. And you don't want to get to a state in life where you look back and realize that you've wasted a lot of time, because the planets will show you that. Your birth chart and whatnot, if you waste a lot of time and you neglect the lessons that you came here to fulfill, if you neglect your life's purpose, and you can find to a large extent your life's purpose by looking at your birth chart and analyzing it, it gets to a point where if you've neglected the things that you've needed to do in life, the celestial bodies will instill a state of consciousness in you that will make you realize that in a way that is very uncomfortable. And that's a beautiful thing, because that uncomfortable feeling is oftentimes the cataclysm that most people need so that they change. But you don't want to get to a point in life where you look back and go, oh my God, I wasted 10, 15, 20 years of my life. I need to change now. Take advantage of the present moment. Take advantage of your health. Find an herb. Find something to do for your health today. It all starts with, creating a regimen. My regimen is in 3 blocks. I have morning, midday, and evening. And then, well, technically 4 blocks, because I have kind of a wind down period after dinner where it's just, I'll do things that are very uplifting, whether it be watching a documentary or reading a book. That's my reward. But morning is filled with, coffee and, certain like affirmations, saying positive things, doing visualization. Midday is reserved to whether, am I going to fast for the rest of the day? Am I going to have lunch? And then like making videos and getting things done. And I'll talk about that more in the future, but you want to really make a plan for your day-to-day activities, and make sure that you're doing something every day in relation to your health. That's what I'm really essentially talking about when I talk about regimen. If you have a long work day, and if you find yourself, for instance, not being able to have time to make a bunch of healthy food, if you're just using or eating foods that are convenient, like microwave foods, because you don't have time during the week to make healthy meals, try to, in a regimented way, designate one day a week, like Sunday, for instance, to prepare all of your meals, and then put them in Tupperware, put them in glass containers, and have everything ready so that for each day of the week, you can now have healthy food that's convenient. You just go into the fridge, you take one of the containers, put it in your work bag, you take your herbs, you got your teas all ready and everything. Oftentimes people embrace convenience, and convenience 9 times out of 10 leads to a lack of health. Convenient foods are very, very unhealthy for the most part, unless you make them convenient on your own accord. And you can make healthy food convenient if you set time during the week to get everything ready and get everything prepared, and to just, it's all about nurturing yourself. So many of us go through life, ladies and gentlemen, and we don't nurture ourselves, We rely on, we operate on whim and just ungrounded faith. Faith is not an accurate path to truth, in my opinion. It's not an accurate path to health. Just hoping that, I hope I don't get sick. I'm going to eat all this fast food. I'm just going to live my life because you only live once. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but I'm just going to hope I don't get sick. I'm going to hope. That's not a... Think about what you're saying. Think about what the energy that you're pushing out into the universe. Think about the way that your subconscious mind reacts to that affirmation. If you just go through life doing what you know you shouldn't do because it's easier, while at the same time just saying, I don't think I'm going to get sick. I hope I don't get sick. So many people do things every day that they know cause cancer. So many people do things every day that they know destroy their health. But they have this false sense of security. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not invincible. Your soul may be eternal, but your physical body is far from that. This is a machine. This is a vehicle. This body is a vehicle. It produces consciousness, and it grounds you to the physical dimension. This vehicle that I'm driving in, I wouldn't just throw paint on the inside of it. I wouldn't just spill or throw wrappers on the ground. This car requires maintenance. It requires an oil change. It requires to have the spark plugs changed. The windows need to be washed. I mean, come on. The exhaust needs to be cleaned. Cars are machines. They need maintenance. The body is a machine. It needs the proper fuel. Just like this car wouldn't run on green juice. This car wouldn't run on cake. This car runs on one particular food. Or fuel. Gasoline. This body wants a optimal form of fuel that doesn't carry with it the vibration of death, slaughter, and torture. This machine, although it's physical, is highly, let me rephrase it. This body is physical, and the physicality of this body and the health of the physical organs and whatnot are highly receptive to the energy that is carried in the particular foods that we put into it. So when you eat a piece of meat that's gone through slaughter, that's been tortured, pumped full of hormones, antibiotics, and vaccines, the energy goes into your body and rewrites the energy. It takes the proper flow of energy and distorts it. And when your organs don't communicate with one another properly, it can lead to issues in one particular organ, or sickness can isolate itself in a different part of the body. The body doesn't like foods that carry with it the signature of death. This is just like Jesus Christ will tell you in the Essene Gospel of Peace. I believe it's book 1 or book 4. Life begets life and death begets death. Peace be with you all.